All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. The conversation begins right now. It's a full panel. We're talking about the final push, 96 hours to go, just 4 days, the elections, and all Kenyans will be going to the ballot. IBC says most of the ballot papers are here. 90% have already been distributed, except the presidential ballot papers, which will be distributed on the 6th and 7th. That's what they said. But now let me introduce my guests, beginning from my farthest right. Danstan Omari is here, advocate of the High Court. Thank you so much for making time. Professor Adam Zolo is also here, political analyst. Asante sana for making time.
Thanks for having me.
Duncan Okach, advocate of the High Court, is also here with us. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you, Trevor.
And Honorable Wilson Sosion, nominated member of Parliament, is here. Asante sana for making time.
Yes, thank you.
We'd like to hear from you as well at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. You can also text in 22422. That's the SMS line. Tell us your name and where you're texting from, and give us your views on every subject that we're going to talk about here. It's mostly the campaign trail. But let's start with the Standard front page. New bid to block Ruto allies in the race. Can persons with cases in court or unresolved integrity questions be cleared to vie for public office? This is a question at the heart of a new case seeking a review of Chapter 6 interpretation, and which targets DP William Ruto's UDA party, its candidates in Tuesday's polls, and others facing questions as well. So, Sion, I'll start with you on this. Should persons with unresolved integrity questions be cleared to vie for public office? It ends up being more of a moral question rather than a legal one, because there's a legal precedence that has already been set. But should they be cleared?
I think that is a question that is coming too late in the day with respect to the elections of 2022. Too late in the sense that the process has been concluded. The IBC, which is a constitutional commission, it operates within the dictates of the law, and the Constitution has cleared candidates. And once cleared, it means you meet the integrity requirements of Chapter 6. And if you can reflect very deeply on the requirements of clearance of candidates, even at the party level, is that you must be cleared by EACC, you must be cleared by the DCI, you get a certificate of good conduct, you must be cleared by KRA, which applied to all the candidates. So I don't think what is happening now is extremely relevant, other than playing politics just for the sake. I want to believe very strongly, as a believer of the rule of law and the Constitution, is that all those who have been cleared, regardless of political affiliations and parties, are eligible to contest in the elections, because we operate within the Constitution and the law. So this action is unnecessary at the moment, and it's just meant to create political drama, which is neither here nor there. If all candidates have been cleared and they're on the ballots, and the ballot papers have been delivered to the country, then the only focus that remains is voting on 9th of August. The people to take a decision on who merits to be elected at the ballot box for MCAs, for members of parliament, for senators, for governors, and for the president is the people of Kenya at the ballot. So right now, the decision on who to be elected rests with the people of Kenya. It rests with the voters. And if we are to talk about integrity questions, then probably we'll have to wait for 2027, or those who have moved to court. We wait for the court to adjudicate the matter and give the verdicts. But as of now, names that have been cleared by EACC, they've been cleared by DCI, they've been cleared by KRA, and therefore all those who are on the ballot, constitutionally and legally, are construed to meet integrity questions, issues of Chapter 6.
Of course, even if the ruling comes, this will not apply retrogressively. It will apply going forward, even as much as you claim that it is too late. You've been a teacher yourself. Would you appoint an unruly child to be the head boy or head girl in a school?
Any student within the school qualifies to merit for any position.
Their character not
within the school. And you look at it at the moment, you even allow students to elect their own, and they can elect anybody. They are what you call fundamental human rights, and some people are trying to misuse provisions in the Constitution to apply to their own thinking. Whereas citizens have a right to move courts over any issue. That's a right. It's a process. It will take its own life. But as of now, with respect to elections of 2022, all candidates on the ballot, from MCA to the president, have been cleared with respect to Chapter 6 of integrity. So we don't need to belabor and waste time and create confusion. We should allow citizens now to take their own decision at the ballot. That's what's remaining.
Prof, is it too late in the day, and should they have been allowed to run for office, people with the cases?
You know, as Kenyans, if you spread your bed, you have to lie on it. And on this, I agree with Sosion that our courts, and us Kenyans as a people and our representatives, we watered down Chapter 6 when the president and the deputy were allowed to run in the 2013 elections. Once you set that precedent, unless you go and undo it, then it applies going forward. And what I want to say, just as Sosiona said, that you can make the law to conform to people's behavior, or you can make the law to correct people's behavior. So whether Chapter 6 needs revisiting, that's something out there. But more importantly for me is that Kenyans generally, and the voters in particular, must now stand up to be counted. That if there is a case in court, and those cases should proceed, it's upon me as a voter to say that in my judgment and logic and rational reasoning, I'll just use as an example. Do I consider that Johnson Sakaja has a degree? That's now for the voter to decide, because we know what has transpired, and we know that the court process can really be
long and
windy. So I think the people also, they're called upon now, because you can say the horse has left the stable. They've been cleared. Ballots have been printed. There is no court order stopping them from being on the ballot. So the court of public opinion has to step in now.
Danson Omari, let me bring in the legal minds on this. Does this have any bearing to the 2013 ruling that involves the ICC issue? And is there a solid case here when they say the petitioners are arguing that people with a tainted track record should not be allowed to run?
Trevor, before I wade myself into that debate, let me say I'm a very proud Kenyan. At night I was dancing and celebrating the success of Omanyala. And our flag, really, as a nation, we have something to be proud of, that is a gallant son of this country who has done Kenya proud. Coming to what you are raising, I think there has been a very, very serious misinterpretation of what Chapter 6 means. Chapter 6 means integrity. And the question of integrity is only determined by the court. It has never, the law of Chapter 6 has never shifted who has the mandate to decide this is somebody who has integrity issues. It has never been left to the church. It has never been left to the panelists. It has never been left to the DCI. It has never been left to the EACC nor the police. The question integrity is going through the motions of due process. Due process has its own tenets. President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto in 2013 were suspects. The law and the Constitution provides that investigative and coercive powers of the state can only call you a suspect. They take you to court, as President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were taken to the ICC, and many of these have been taken to court. Then whoever says that they suspect your integrity or your degree is suspect, produce the evidence. You are given time to defend yourself. You produce either counter evidence showing the degree you are saying I don't have, or the integrity issues you are raising, this is my evidence. The judge decides. In the due process, the Kenyan due process says there are 4 layers.
Yeah.
It can start from a magistrate, you are convicted or set free. It can go to the High Court of Kenya, you are found guilty or not. You can go to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. Still under Article 2.6, Kenyans, you created that any treaty or any law that Kenya has ratified forms the Kenyan law. So we have another 5th layer. For example, in the Sonko matter, as we've gone to the East African Court of Justice, let us not turn this country into a banana country. This is a country. In Article 1 and 2, we have said, we the people are going to be governed through a democratic process. A democratic process is that everybody is presumed innocent until proved guilty under Article 50, and still under Article 99 until, even if proved guilty, until all avenues of appeal have been exhausted. That is what a civilized country like Kenya can do. So all these are emotionals. These are emotional outbursts.
Yeah.
All these are people looking for relevance. It is politics. All these are people looking for funds. You know, donors fund such issues for entities to appear that they are fighting. If you look at how many petitions have been filed over this question, there are almost 1,000. And all of them have been dismissed because Kenya chose the way to democracy, and nobody, whether it's Raila Odinga coming, whether it's William Ruto coming, whether it's Wajakoya coming or Mwaure coming, can reverse that constitutional provision. And even if it is reversed, still the international definition of democracy cannot be changed, and we have a new democracy and a new judicial process in Kenya.
Okay. Okach, what is your reading of this?
Yes, I would agree to a large extent with my learned colleague, to the extent that, of course, the courts have actually been right. They have not faltered in any manner whatsoever, because the doctrine of presumption of innocence reigns supreme across the entire Constitution. And indeed, the right to a fair hearing is a right that cannot be fettered in any way under Article 25. So there's no way you can now say that you want the court to, or you want the citizens, or you want the state to actually turn into a mob justice and negate the provisions of fair hearing, because that is what the petitioner is actually calling, and I've heard also Prof here telling Kenyans to adopt. Because if that is the modality that we will use, then whoever is in power will only generate, and we've seen that this country is very ingenious. I feel that Sosion is my competitor. He has a lot of support. I will just very easily generate a case against him. And that alone, if that is the position, will ensure that I have a smooth sway. So that is the mischief that we are trying to deal with. However, if you read the tenets of Chapter 6, and I think also this is where people get it wrong, Chapter 6, the title is Leadership and Integrity. It speaks to the conduct of a public officer. It does not speak to the conduct of Trevor, who is not a public officer, or myself. A public officer is defined under the Constitution. Once you become a public officer, your conduct should then meet the threshold in Chapter 6. If it does not meet the threshold in Chapter 6, the provisions of removal under Article 75 come into play. And therefore, when you want to now apply it even before someone is elected, then it is a misapplication of the law. It is a petition that ought to be brought after someone is elected, and you are saying this person does not meet in terms of his conduct. But remember, it can then be applied before, if someone has already been removed, like the case of Governor Sonko. If you have already been removed and you have exhausted all the appellate mechanisms provided for in law, thereafter, you cannot then be said to be qualified. And remember, the essence of qualification is not even on IBC, and I've said it in this show before. The buck rests with EACC, which is constituted and which is supposed to certify that you meet the thresholds of Chapter 6. EACC does not do that. When you go to EACC, you want to vie, you will just be given a form, you fill the details, there's no even verification. That form, you take it to IBC. IBC has no business questioning this document from EACC. So there's no certificate you are given of compliance that will then mean that if you don't have this certificate, IBC cannot go far. What EACC did, which is quite cowardly, is after giving everyone these forms and signing, they then sneak a letter, the famous Barua, with some list of people they think have integrity issues. IBC has no mandate in law to act on that. So we got it wrong the first time, and I do agree in 2013. I don't think that we cannot resolve this issue because it was a 5-judge bench then. That matter was not appealed to the Supreme Court level. So there's still a manner in which this matter can be reinvented, can be appealed, and the Supreme Court will actually now settle this matter. Lastly, as I always say, when you have a new constitution, litigation settles a lot of these matters. The US does not have these issues that we have because they've settled these issues long time ago, but they end their stint of litigation. So it is good when these things go to court, they are settled so that in future, we'll never be here again relitigating this issue. Okay,
let's take a quick break here on Daybreak. When you come back, we'll take some of your feedback and then get into the front page of the Daily Nation. They're saying playing dirty. That's what they're leading with. There's a presidential duel, they say. Uhuru Kenyatta, who backs front-runner Raila Odinga for the top job, is caught up in a wrestling match with Ruto that has gone to the dogs. And there's a soundbite from the president who will play that as well, why he decided to change his mind on supporting his deputy. That coming up in just a bit, but keep your views coming at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. See you shortly.